Welcome back to Kin in Lion. This, I estimate, is part 39, I think it is. Yeah. So the more I delve into my collection of drawings, the more I find. And this was a drawing book which showed some really detailed drawings here of colleagues in the army in Kimberley, 1980 odd, 80 or 81. So I like the combination here of detailed drawing. This guy must have sat like that for a while, even though it wasn't posed. Then behind him, a quicker sketch. And another detailed one down the bottom there. Oh, and just above here, everything's slotted in with other stuff from other times. And this I did a sketch in the army of a horse, which I showed earlier. And then I took that and turned it into a painting. So these were some of my sort of little mock-ups of how the painting might be arranged. I had a sort of nice piece of canvas that I was going to do it on, and I will show that painting later. But for now, we're back in the military. There's a chap lying. So we've got people at all angles. This guy's this ploy of having a foreground figure bold and then light figures in the background works quite nicely. Here we've got foreground figures done lightly and the dark guy in the background. So anyway, anything goes. Another big drawing of chaps sitting around a bed in one of those bungalows I spoke about. You can see that guy on the left has moved his trommel. It's a steel trunk, which we were all issued with. He's moved that to use as a chair. They've probably all done that. So those things became little seats. And maybe they're playing cards or something. Another complete drawing. Then I recognize this immediately as my brother Alistair. So I must have sketched this while on pass. Actually, we went for a period of about 3 or 4 years when the 4 brothers, Ian, Alistair, Kin, and Donald, didn't overlap much. We were all at one point in the damn army. So, I would be on leave pass and a couple of others would be in the army and vice versa. I recognize this guy. In the military, they gave us a course. I had to do Herero as a language, because that was where I was meant to be sent in Namibia, Herero land. And I think this was a lecturer that actually had a Herero guy come along and, he was on their side. So here it looks as though I've got a nice pen and ink sketch going. Certainly does give a lovely bold but fine line, and bold where you press hard, which is the sort of key to its the line quality there. You don't get that in any other medium. And yeah, this was also just tucked away in that book. More characters. I never tired of them. Each is a composition in its own right. I mean, look at that. done on a writing pad paper, naturally. So this book here actually has my friend Trevor Cater's name on the front. So I must have commandeered it. It's an army issue. And that, I think, is Trevor on the right. I'm not sure who these other two were. Again, two guys. The rest of the book is empty. A little angel on the back. And then, I did this. So that was, Trevor made you can see the 11th Commando had that as their little, whatever, motif or whatever you call it. And we had to paint a few of those until they introduced a jackal head for the intelligence school, which we then had to paint all over the show as well. But here I've really gone to town with some wacky images. And this thing here, you'll see, actually harks back to something I did at art school in my 4th year. Big sculpture, carving out of wood, which ended like this and then had like a crucifix on the top. That was the sort of hips of the Christ figure. But here I've subconsciously drawn that. And what does this say? Self-portrait T. Cater. Having a little dig at my mate there. And here's another army issue thing. I don't know if there are many drawings. There are a couple, yeah. This one is somebody polishing his boots. You can actually see the underside of the boot there. Sometimes I even drew self-portraits. I don't know if this is one. Reflected in windows while standing guard. So I can barely see myself. Now I'm not going to worry about getting paper in between here. These were National Party politicians that I sketched off the TV. Sort of a know your enemy scenario. Not sure who that was. I think this might have been Dennis Worrell at the top there. So he became the ambassador to London and went on to sort of quit the National Party and join the Progressives in the 80s, which was a big blow to the Nats because he did that when the National Party failed. P.W. Botha was expected to announce all sorts of reforms around 85, and he failed to do so. He failed to cross the Rubicon, as the press put it. And so Worrell joined the PFP, or what it had become then, I think, the Democratic Party. I think that's all. There's a lot of writing in here. So I was sort of pontificating about the situation in South Africa because I'd had this long tradition of writing letters to the editor of the Dispatch and having them published, So this is all my political writings going on here, but not much art. Unless there's something stuck here, no. So I have to reunite those. Here's a very small sketch pad. We saw one earlier of a chap throwing a dart, or grimacing as he aimed. It'd be nice to get this chap in focus. Real, literally, virtually a thumbnail sketch. This guy looks ominously like he's taking a leak. Anything was possible in the army. Look at their face, it's become a contorted thing. Yeah, don't even remember doing these. That was it. My green Manalishi, a little notebook I created for myself. Large lady, probably. This might have been when I was at that amateur dramatic society again. Don't remember anybody else with a beard like that, but you never know. You meet so many people in the army. This was actually a girl I went out with for a while, Kim Demaray. And this is my brother Don, I think. Got a distinctive Bentley nose there, with a little bit of a bump on the end. And then I mentioned earlier that we were at a sports stadium in Kimberley. I drew the Sergeant Major there. These are a couple of other guys sitting below us in the stand. Yeah. So here's a landscape in the Kimberley area, very flat, with the odd outcrop of a copy here and a... Now, where did this little bunny rabbit occur? That's amazing. A couple of large people again. And more mana, the main mana. Fish. Don't think there's anything else here. Looks like somebody in a sleeping bag or something. Yeah, quick, not too successful drawing. Special votes, postal votes. There must have been an election while we were in the army. 7th of April. Yeah, so let me leave it at that for now, and I'll see you later.